Let's not waste any time and let's keep this Spyro train rolling with getting the Platinum Trophy for Ripto's Rage. Now, much like the first Spyro, I have played so little of this game that I may as well say I haven't played it at all. My brother had this on the PlayStation, but I think I maybe played this for an hour at most, and that was 20 odd years ago. But let's see what we can get done here, with 30 trophies including the Platinum, a 3 out of 10 difficulty, and an estimated 8 hours to complete. Let's save our lore. Now, unlike with Year of the Dragon, which I've played a lot of, it's looking like we don't have all the abilities, so there will be a lot of backtracking for the required 100%. So, unlike when I do Platinum Spyro 3, which will be out next week, I'm just going to play through the story, just grab what I can along the way, and then go back and grab everything else. So after the events of the first Spyro game, Spyro's bored of rain and decides to go on holiday to Dragon Shores. But a load of geezers yank us from the portal ways to help deal with a magic tyrant named Ripto. Good thing too, because sand can be coarse, rough, irritating, and it gets everywhere. So being dropped into the first level allows us to get a good look at how things are going to go. We meet Moneybags, who will meet over Spyro 2 and 3, who we have to pay for access to new areas or abilities. And we see a ladder that we can't climb yet, so we see our first instance of needed backtracking later on. Our first trophy comes at the end of the level with Hypersonic for lighting the 6 gem lamps in 15 seconds. You have to use these gates to give you temporary perks, but to do so, you have to rack up enough kills in the levels to power them up. Using the souls of the dead for added power. This is a kid's game, man. That's dark. Leaving the first level takes us to hub world number 1, and my completionist brain kicks in immediately. I know I have to do it eventually, so I may as well start now, collecting all the gems, and this game's main collectible. Spyro had the dragons, Spyro 3 has the dragon eggs, Spyro 2 has the crystal orbs. These are the narrative's Deus Ex Machina. Ripto first got through the portal that Elnora, Hunter, and the Professor opened, and Ripto scattered them about. We need them for both facing Ripto and to get the big portal working again so Spyro can get to Dragon Shores. Through completing the first hub world, we get, well, you might as well, for completing Hunter's challenge, and paying Moneybags another 500 gems allows us to swim underwater so we can get the remaining gems and access the rest of the first hub level. Flight levels make a return from the first game, and they're back to piss me off yet again. It took me a couple of tries to get the first ones, as the first time limit seems a lot harsher than what I remember things being like in Year of the Dragon. We do get Warm the Crowd though, for setting the audience on fire. Moving on to the underwater level means we have a trophy to kill all the robot sharks, but I keep getting eaten, so I think there'll be a power up later on to deal with that.
Our world is wet again.
Pause.
I'm proven right about the power up, and we get Lockjaw for destroying all the robot sharks. I decided to 100% this level while I'm here, as Spyro's underwater controls.
Sometimes maybe shit.
Moving on to the next levels gets us Exterminate for destroying all robots in Hurricos, using your head for charging a goat in Colossus, and Conservationist 1 for completing Crush's dungeon without hitting any fodder.
You may have been able to defeat that simpleton, but golf will be more than a match for you. Bring it on, shorty!
Moving on to the second hub world means we have to pay Moneybags another 500 gems so we can climb ladders. Wait. Do you hear that? No! Next up is Flying High for defeating the snowmobiles before the hang gliders. Trouble No More for getting a clean run on the trolley minigame, which was painful to get done. Maybe I'm just bad at video games. Not Cannon for using a cannon to beat a TNT thrower. Paying Moneybags a further 1,000 gems for the head smash lets us clear the boulders in the winter tundra.
Well, nobody said Ripto was brave. He's locked himself behind this door. The professor thinks that only a very large collection of orbs will open it.
But now we have all the abilities, I can go back through and get some final crystals before the boss and get some trophies along the way. So we got Bad Sushi for not feeding the idle head any red fish, Rescued for headbutting every turtle to safety in the Turtle Soup minigame, and Long Distance for completing the long glide to the orb in Autumn Plains. Clearing out worlds to get the 100% eventually got me the 40th orb I needed to face Ripto, but let's keep it rolling with the trophies before facing Lord Vertically Challenged. Dryfoot for getting through Shady Oasis and not touching the hazardous water, Ganked for stealing a popcorn crystal from Hunter. Hold up! Is ganked still a word that kids use? I'm gonna sound really old here, but I may have reached the age where I can actually say back in my day. And ganking sounds more like something I did when I was a kid. Bugging out for charging through 5 buggies, and monkeying around for charging all the monkeys in Mystic Marsh. Mystic Marsh's level design was dogshite. For one of the tasks, chasing this little bitch around to get something off of it, this chase was absolute AIDS. I was so happy when this level was done. Proceeding to the next world, got a spitball for defeating every Robo Bee by spitting at it, and later on we got the 100% for the game by completing everything. In the fight against Ripto, I made sure to use all 3 of the different power-ups to get the RBG trophy, and beating Ripto means it's only the final cleanup left to go. All of this made a lot easier by the Super Flame power-up. I started the cleanup with Conservationist 2 by beating Gulp without harming any fodder. I was basically just able to stun lock him till his health hit 0. Going back to the Skelos Badlands to make it to the end of the level without touching lava gets us unburnt. Duck and Cover for not getting hit by Bob. Giant Slayer for defeating every Earth Shaper in Fracture Hills. You can do this by forcing them into lava, but Super Flame is just a one-shot and saves a lot of time. Next up was Bug Control for defeating all Draclets in one Super Flight. Sheepless for not hitting any sheep in Cloud Temples. And that leaves one final trophy. I tried to beat this ox earlier, but couldn't get the angle on the bombs right. But apparently, you can just use the Super Flame from here, and it cheeses the whole thing. That Super Flame made this probably the easiest trophy in the whole game. Playing Spyro 2 kind of left me with some mixed feelings, I can't lie. I could have gone so much harder on some of those flight levels, and I did go on a little bit about level design, but in the end, what matters is that I did have fun. I think that going into a first time playthrough with a platinum trophy in mind was a mistake, because I had the whole thought in the back of my head just wanting to get it done as soon as possible so I can move on to the next video. But it was still good, following on from what Spyro did and enhanced it with new abilities and a pretty fun cast of characters. Plus, Alora's a sweet one.